Welcome to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
Hi, everybody. I'm spiritual medium and psychotherapist and author Kellee White. And yes, I have a little bit of a cold. So if I sound like I have a cold, it's because I have a cold. I went to the All Souls event. I gave a lot of hugs, and it was a great experience, an incredible time over the weekend, and I came home with this. But my friend Judy Friedman, shout out to Judy. Thank you for doing all those healings on me. I so appreciate it. So here we go. Well, let me say hi to everybody. Hi, Sherry Craft. Yesterday, I could not find my keys. I found the spare fob battery that was dead. I never leave my keys in my drawer, but there they were. Isn't that bizarre, Sherry, when that happens? But on my way to town, I saw a doe and two fawns, and they crossed in front of me. So I think that's really wonderful, because you said later that it had been a 25-minute delay and you may not have seen them. So spirit will slow us down when we need to be slowed down. And a deer represents, of all things, slowing down, the need to slow down. So that's very, very important. You got the message that way, Sherry. Oh my gosh, Sylvia. Hi, Sylvia. I will come back and get you a card for your husband, honey. Thank you. Hi, Dee Dee from Chicago. May we all let go of things that we're not meant to carry and surrender for peace. Right on, Dee Dee. Absolutely. So important to just be able to let go and to surrender so we can all have some peace. Hi, Renee. Oh, I'm glad you're excited about tonight's topic. It's a good one. Hi, Leslie. Hi, Michelle Kavanaugh. She says, Kellee, this retrograde is something else. Blessings. Michelle, you have no idea. Excuse me. I don't want to cough. Well, I'm going to cough. Excuse me. I'm okay. This retrograde, we're trying to get my book out on the audio, and we've had nothing but problem after problem. So I can really relate to this Mercury retrograde. Sarah Stone, hi Sarah. She says, have you had a chance to see the awesome Aurora Borealis for the last couple of nights? Excuse me. You're not going to believe this, Sarah. Everybody in this town saw them, except for me. For whatever reason, we had a cloud cover right over our house. But interesting enough, on that 11/11 portals when they started, I thought that was fascinating. And it was seen, so many states saw it. I have beautiful pictures from all my local friends around here, and I didn't get to see it. I was really bummed, because it's one thing, it's on my bucket list to see. But I'm glad you got a lot of good pictures. Excuse me. Hi, Linda. Navigating Grief with Dr. Constance. Hi. Hi, Leslie. Hi, Gabrielle. Hi, Laura. Exhausting week and feeling very heavy energy. You know, Laura, it has been a heavy energy, hasn't it? Right. It has been a heavy energy. Well, I have to tell you, I had an extraordinary time last weekend at the All Souls event. It was really great. It was my fourth time there. It was really great to see everybody and make new friends and see some of my old friends. And it's really, if you guys have an opportunity to do this next year, you should do it. It's really quite amazing. But I want to give a shout out and a rock star award to Deb Renner. Deb, you helped me so much. So we had a snowstorm Saturday night in Wisconsin. Excuse me. I'm going to take another one of my lozenges. And this snowstorm was pretty bad. And they did not have a place for our cars except outside. So the next morning we're having breakfast, and Deb says to me, well, I'll scrape the ice off your car for you. Now, you have to understand, I'm a girl from LA. That was like the greatest gift ever. She did. She got out there and she scraped off all the ice on my car. And then she gave me as a gift the ice scraper. So sorry. So I really, a shout out to you, Deb. You were fabulous. I really want to thank you so much for that. So let's talk a little bit about Vedic astrology. Then I'm going to cover the topic today. One of the things that I thought was really interesting, excuse me, is on November 12th. And do you remember me talking about November 12th? On November 12th, Mercury was conjunct Mars. That was just yesterday. Mercury is the planet of communications, and in Vedic astrology, it was in Scorpio. And Mars is anger and intensity, and they were conjunct, they were together. I thought it was a very interesting that was a day of kind of explosive Epstein emails. That's pretty much what a Mercury conjunct Mars would look like. So I thought that was really interesting. And also I wanted to talk about, now that Jupiter is retrograde, Jupiter is the largest planet, and it brings in a lot of blessings. And right now it's in Cancer in Vedic astrology, and it's exalted. But let me tell you, it will be retrograde until March 10th of 2026. So from now till March 10th of 2026, Jupiter is about belief systems. So you might be questioning your belief systems. Are your beliefs correct? This will provide you an opportunity to go back and to do what you had wanted to learn, particularly for higher learning, because Jupiter is all about learning. Also, Jupiter brings an opportunity to look at your finances, build back wealth. So it can be a re-examination of our policies, a re-evaluation. Excuse me. It's a big deal with when Jupiter goes retrograde. I think we'll be questioning our belief systems the next several months. Something to pay attention to. And yesterday, on the 11th, I thought that portal was pretty fascinating. Again, we had the Aurora Borealis, the Northern Lights. Pretty cool on that. And in Vedic astrology, on November 16th, the sun goes into Scorpio. So we have a lot of Scorpio energy. I think a lot of emotions are going to be this month. I've been saying that. Facing fears, embracing your personal growth. This is it's a big month. So yes, Laura, the energy is a heavier energy. So sorry, everybody. It's a heavier energy. And now I want to talk about the subject tonight, which I love this subject. And this is a subject about the psychology of letting go and the spiritual art of surrender. Because letting go is really one of the hardest things that we face. Now, on Earth, when we come to Earth school, we keep learning. Sometimes we get stuck. We might get stuck in pain and suffering. We might get stuck in loss. We might get stuck in disappointment. Who hasn't been disappointed, please? Everybody, you come to Earth, you're going to be disappointed. Who hasn't been betrayed? Oh, please. You're going to have like the regular class of these things. The idea is not to get stuck. So I'm going to talk about how to process things, like process endings or process disappointments, because we're all going to be disappointed. I mean, at times, my goodness. So the psychology of letting go, from a psychological standpoint, it means to consciously release our attachments to a specific outcome, to a past event, to a grievance. And it's about accepting what is and choosing to move forward without being burdened by what we cannot change or control. So it's really, really important. It's about, I'll repeat that, accepting what is. Accepting, oh, this is what it is. And then choosing to move forward without being burdened by what we cannot change or control. That was a big lesson for me to learn. I used to think that I could control so much. No, not at all. And once you start to understand that and have an acceptance of it, reframe your mind to think, oh, this is a lesson that I'm learning right now. Oh, what a lesson. That's the whole thing right there, to reframe. And I'm going to talk about that. That is a big thing here. But why is it difficult for us to let go of this, of whatever the circumstances are? Because how many times have we heard, well, this person's no good, and this and and why are you doing this? And it's not that simple. None of it is that simple, but it could be. So why is it difficult? There's a fear of the unknown. So often we will hold on to the familiar. My dad was an asshole. I picked an asshole. That kind of a thing. Because it might feel safer actually stepping into what's familiar. Also, there's a need for control. There's a whole thing. We believe if we just hold on tight enough, we can influence the outcomes. Not true. Not true. Actually, releasing control often can feel like giving it power, but you're not. The idea is to reframe, to let go, and allow yourself to move forward. And we're all going to have opportunities to do that on Earth. How long? In fact, on the other side, they're probably going to say, how long were you stuck there? Let's look. 25 years. 25 years? What do you think you were stuck about 25 years for? Couldn't let go. Oh, okay. So also, there's a learned helplessness. How many of us had parents? I did not. But that were helpless. Like sometimes we can learn helplessness out of something. So you might be so accustomed to the helplessness that it's hard to let go. But once you can do these things, there is reduced stress, reduced anxiety, there's emotional freedom. Oh my gosh, there's an improved mental health. You don't have to carry the anxiety and the depression. Also, it's resilience. You want to have a greater resilience, like to bounce back from adversity. I was like a bouncing ball. I was constantly having a situation, bouncing up, coming back again. What does James call it? Like one of those bobblehead dolls. It's true. Also, when you are able to move forward, you get this amazing thing. It's an amazing enhanced problem solving. That's why I'm so good at solving problems now, because I've been through so much. Like, oh yeah, I get that one. All right, here's how we move you through. So also, when you let go of things that have just held you back, you're not living in the present moment, and you're missing all kinds of opportunities. So how do you practice this, psychologically? Well, you want to acknowledge what happened, whatever it was. I remember years ago, I had I was in a bad relationship, really bad one. And my girlfriend at the time was my one of my closest friends. And she said to me, oh, you need to leave him. He's awful. He's awful. But I knew that was the case. But she was very supportive of that. You need to leave him. Kellee, this is gonna end badly. She was right. And I did leave. And then she chose his side. I thought that was a real big betrayal. It was like, to this day, I'm like, I'll be darned. But here's what happened. I understood the way this friend of mine thought. I understood her. I just understood her. I never forgot it. Never went back to the relationship with her. Ever. It was a hard pass. But I forgave her because I understood the way she had limited thinking. I don't even know if it was limited thinking. I don't even know. It was, I think she felt sorry for him. Whatever it was, it was a big lesson for me in betrayal. And I use that one a lot. So in a sense, I'm kind of glad I had the experience because it has helped me with my life and it's helped me with resilience. And again, betrayal is a big one when you come to Earth. So first, you want to process these emotions, whatever it is. You do not want to suppress your feelings. The reason people go to therapy is so they can get their feelings out. Maybe they didn't even think of looking at a situation in any which way. And that's why therapy really can be so good for you if you have a good therapist. So the other thing is, you can recognize that your thoughts may not be facts. And attachments are not always helpful. I'll repeat that. Recognize that your thoughts may not be facts. They may be something in your head that's just going off and off and off. But attachments sometimes are not helpful. And you're allowed in this lifetime to move forward. So reframing is everything. Challenge your rigid thought patterns. Challenge them. Ask yourself if holding on is serving you. Like, I'm going to be mad at this asshole forever. My mom, my dad, whatever it is, whatever. My sibling. No, that one I get. But ask yourself if holding on is actually serving your well-being, because frankly, it's not. It's just not. It's just zapping you of energy. You can be free to move on. And so I love that I can reframe pretty much anything. And also reframe it like this. Tell yourself you had to have that experience so you could learn. It's a great reframe. I had to have that experience so I could learn. Yeah. And that's a good reframe. And it's very, very helpful. And practice acceptance. Accept some things that just are. It doesn't mean that you are condoning the behavior. It doesn't mean that you like the behavior. Just recognize the reality. And I think the biggest one for me has always been self-compassion. Be kind to yourself during this process, because letting go is a journey. It is not a destination. It's a constant. I could turn around tomorrow and get another situation. Oh, okay. And then, so it's a constant reevaluating. Where am I with my processes? It's a constant. And it's really good. If you guys are in your 50s or 60s, it's a great time to do it. Listen, if you can do it when you're younger, I couldn't do it when I was younger. I was too, like in the moment. But if you can do it in your 50s and 60s, oh. And if you're in your 70s and you're holding on, please, time to let go. Time to let go. You don't want to come back with this energy. Forgiveness, apology, all of those kind of things are extremely important. But there's a spiritual art of surrendering too. That was a psychological. I love the spiritual art, because it goes beyond simply letting go of control here. It's a profound act of yielding to a higher power. And that's where I find the greatest release from any of this. It's that higher power. It's that divine will. It's that natural flow, if you will, of the universe. And there's wisdom to that. There's wisdom in our own being. So it's not a passive resignation or giving up on life. It's a conscious alignment with something that is greater than our individual ego. And it's because when you hold on to something, you will remain limited. You don't need to do that. You go, okay, this is what happened. I had this lesson for an opportunity for growth. I'm learning compassion. I'm learning forgiveness. I'm learning that everybody on this damn planet is in a different state of mind. That's all. That's all. And what happens is when you look at anything from a profound spiritual place, it opens up to divine grace and divine guidance. By letting go of your own limited plans, you create an opening for insight, for guidance, and support from the spiritual world, which is really important. I have to tell you, I had a funny experience when I was over the weekend. I couldn't find my room. I could not find my room. Now, this hotel was pretty large, had like 8 buildings in it. I couldn't find my room. And poor Michelle said to me, I'll walk you to your room. I go, no, I'll be fine. I had to be back in 15 minutes. Could not find my room to save my life. I walked up and down and all around, and I'm like, oh, God, I don't want to miss. My friend was going to be the speaker. Shout out to Julianne. You did a great job, Julianne. And she talked about feng shui. It was great. But anyway, I'm walking down, and I'm trying to find this, and I see this man standing there. And I literally said to him, do you know where building 4 is? He goes, I do not, but he said, I'll help you, but could you answer a question for me? And I was like, okay, is this the key? I said, yes. Okay, what's the question? Because I had to run to the bathroom. I had like 10 minutes at this point. And he goes, can you give me some tips? He said, because my talk was about being an empath and being with somebody who's like an engineer brain, two different, very different types of souls. He said, can you give us, my wife is an empath and I'm an engineer. He said, can you give us some tips? I said, I can. Let me get to my room. We'll come out. We'll figure this one out. But he was the perfect person to ask because he was an engineer brain. He took out a map and he goes, oh, here we go. Blah, 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 blah. I can't read a map. So I had been saying to the universe, could you help me in this? And sure enough, just like that. Now, had I just been obstinate, which I'm not with directions, I'm the first one that raises their hand and goes, can you help me? Really, I get lost for a living. And when James and I are together, oh, it's the worst. I mean, it's the best, but we will definitely be late. Anyway, so if you open it up to the universe, the surprises that come down the road are amazing. So if you think about it, let go of whatever it is that you are holding on to, that you need to let go of. Because here's the other thing. When you take a spiritual approach to letting go of something, that is where growth and transformation take place. Right there. You can change in a moment. Most people cannot. Most people have to perseverate and suffer and do all of this. Oh, okay. All right. They're in a pain body. Okay. But you don't have to. You can actually make a decision or have a thought that changes everything for you and puts you on a spiritual road or more of a spiritual road and shifts you into transformation. I think it's really important. When I was going through so much of my stuff, it took me years to get here, I said something every day, and this is what I said, and I would say, thy will be done. I'm not a religious person whatsoever, but thy will be done was help me to be able to let go and have a detachment from an outcome. That one really, really helpful. So a detachment, and practicing detachment is everything on earth. Detachment, if you practice that, you take inspired action, but you release the attachment to how things should turn out. When we used to call it the whatever of the shoulds, the dread of the shoulds. Don't ever say the word should. Well, I should do this. Oh, I should do that. It's the worst word ever. But instead, focus on the effort, not just the result. I think it's really, really important. And letting go is often about releasing maybe a specific attachment or a thought or emotion that causes suffering. And it can be a mental and emotional discipline. So surrender, though, is characterized by trust and faith and alignment with a greater wisdom. That's the road I prefer, is the spiritual wisdom of why did this even happen to begin with? And what am I learning from it? And can I let go of it now? Yeah, you can let go of it now. Okay, so I think it's really important. And here's the other thing, too. That I just want to mention this a little bit, but spiritually, how do you process disappointment or betrayal? Because it's a big one. I mean, how do you do that? You connect with your core values, because often when there's been a disappointment or a betrayal, you lose your identity. Just do. So you reaffirm your identity, because betrayal can shake our sense of everything, our sense of self. But when you lean into a spiritual practice, whether it's meditation or prayer or reading a sacred text or anything, spending time in nature, engaging in community service, you deepen your own spiritual practice for perspective. And perspective is everything. Remember, we come to earth, it's duality, this or that. It's the opposites. So we have to constantly shift our lenses, get new lenses, and so we can view our situations with new lenses constantly. And new lenses, I'll give you the idea of a new lens is about compassion, having empathy for you and for what people are going through, and compassion. So embrace forgiveness, whether it's for you or for somebody else. And it's a process of releasing bitterness resentment, and anger that binds you to that pain. But it's about your own liberation. You think about it, right? And it's not just letting the other person off the hook. It's like you do it for yourself, because if you carry guilt or self-blame or any of that, it is going to eat at you. It doesn't need to. Understand that you may have done the best that you could at that time for what you knew at that time. Okay, and remember, it's a journey. You want to find the gems. That's what Mavis used to talk about all the time. The gems on the way. Find meaning and find growth. What can you learn? Listen, you have a painful experience, you're going to learn a lot of stuff. A lot of gems in that. Do I like painful experiences? No, not at all. Not whatsoever. But I've learned to use a different lens when something happens. And it's just has been a very powerful thing for me. So if you are processing disappointment or betrayal, it takes time, it takes courage, and self-compassion. So be gentle with yourself through all of this healing time that we're on earth. We're here to do a lot of healing on ourselves. You want to, when you leave this earth and you want to go to the other side, go with, you did as many good things as you could. You let go of this and you did this, and yeah, we're all going to get beat up along the way. But how did you do with all of it? That's the whole key right there. Were you loving? Were you kind? Were you compassionate? Did you have empathy? All of those things, frankly, it's everything. All of those things are everything. And it's important things to learn. So I hope that helps a lot of people. And let me just say, I've got a couple of things coming up. I've got, James and I are back on You and the Universe on Tuesdays. If you're watching us, we love it. It's at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So watch us on Tuesdays. And this Saturday, we have our Roots of Healing. And so we're so excited about this. Go to kelleewhite.com events. It's the last one of the year, and I don't know when we'll have one again next year, but probably will. But it's live on Zoom at 11 a.m. Central Time, so 9 a.m. Central Time, or Pacific Time. We're going to look at trauma and early attachment, shape identity, and personality structures. We're going to talk about personality disorders and things that have been passed down from the generations. And I'm going to be talking about karmic imprints. Like when a soul comes in, where are we with everything that's going on with them? And then where do they go from there? So I'm really excited about that. And looking at heavy duty soul contracts. Gosh, so many of my clients, it's unbelievable the stories that they have gone through. It's unbelievable. So I think and Carrie Gonia is going to do a family constellation, which you can't even get in to see her for 6 months. So please join us. And at the end of it, our dear friend James Van Prague is going to come in and do a tie-up on chaos, because the subject is chaos. He's perfect for this, for putting us back together in a wonderful meditation. So if you feel guided to do this, come and join us this Saturday. It's 3 hours, and it's really an extraordinary experience. And December 12th, I'm really excited about this. Also, I'm teaching a class with Janelle Campbell on angels and archangels. And Janelle is a fabulous medium in Australia. And she's going to be doing an angelic, she's going to meditation and channeling for the year of 2026. We're going to talk about what the angels see for us in 2026. Now, James and I are also going to be doing our, astrology psychic stuff for the year of 2026. We'll be doing that too sometime in December. But this is December 12th. So join us for that. You can find that on my website. We did this last year, and it was really phenomenal. So Laura Crum, you said, I so believe that many lives and journeys are full circle. There is no end. Very true. The new beginnings lead to newer beginnings, and as soul lessons progress. So true, Laura. Laura, I love the way you think. She said, if we think of full circle, we realize there are no endings of loved ones as they surround us always. We trust divine timing, and we lose the need for control that literally can harm us. Right on. And we learn that all has a natural flow, whether we trust it or not. It will continue as the universe has its own plans for goodness. Sometimes we try to control so much, we lose sight of who we truly are, and our true purpose and meaning in life gets lost. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's true, Laura. It really is. Once you start taking a spiritual perspective of things, it's life-changing. Oh, I don't need to worry about this. It's like something. It's like a transformation, immediate transformation when you think along the spiritual way. So thank you for that. Ann Rogers says, Kellee, I'm ready to let go of being all right with not knowing what to do next in a difficult situation. That's the definition of anxiety. If you can let go of whatever, we don't know what's going to come up. So if you can let go of that and being all right, Ann Rogers, you're ahead of the game. Absolutely. I mean, you just go, oh, okay, here we go. So that's a great statement, Ann Rogers. Really appreciate that. So this was a good one. Elena Wood, she says, I'm very excited about tonight's show. She says, please teach us how to help ourselves let go. She said, I've been seeing a wonderful shaman, and she's cut cords and removed crystallized black energy blocks in my solar plexus. I want to make sure they don't come back. I feel lighter, freer, less reactive, more at peace, and I'm taking things in stride. Thanks for guiding me there. So here's the thing. When you get your cords cut and you do that and you're working with a shaman, that can certainly accelerate a process. No doubt about it. It can accelerate a process. But you also want to make sure, like you said, want to make sure that they don't come back. So also really process the loss, the grief, the whatever happened, process it. Really, it's not, I wish we could just take a pill and it's gone. It doesn't work that way. It's about processing. That's why not cutting cords doesn't necessarily work or not work, but you have to really look at the whole thing of it. What else is there? Are you feeling, whatever it happens to be, whatever, betrayed? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling grief? Are you feeling whatever it is? So I would ask you to really process some more, Elena, but it sounds like you're in a really good space for that. Good for you. Carlene says, Kellee, I would love it if you would share how you came up with your daughter's name. It's very unique. Was she named after the Madonna song? No, but I'll tell you. So my daughter's name is Holiday. And how I came up with it was I had a boyfriend when I was 24 who had a sister named Holly. They lived in the Deep South. And one day he said her name, as I'd known her for many, many years. And I knew her as Holly. And one day he said, in front of me, he said, Holiday. I said, Holiday? He said, yeah, that's her name. And I said, Holiday's her name? I thought you called her Holly. He said, yes, but her real name is Holiday. Well, that name went into my system. I was 24. I didn't have Holly until I was 27. I said, if I ever have a girl, her name's Holiday. That name just fit. That was the name. And I remember saying to my husband at the time, we didn't know if we were having a boy or a girl. I said, if it's a girl, her name is Holiday. And he said, oh, we'll call her Holly. I said, no, nothing wrong with Holly. I love Hollies. I've got lots of Hollies in my life. But her name is Holiday. But we used that song by Madonna, Holiday, for her bat mitzvah. And she came out with that song blasting. So thank you for the good memory, Carlene. Yeah, it was. And she's a doctor. So she's actually Doc Holiday, which you got to love, right? I think that was so fun. Marge says, have a little whiskey and hot toddy. That's what James told me to do. DK says, Kellee, I'd love to have a card from my dear dad, George, who celebrated his 95th birthday. Oh, my gosh. He was 1111 on that portal. What a special guy. Let's get an angel number for him. What a special guy. Oh, my gosh. Isn't that great? You're lucky you have him around. You're so lucky, DK. We never know how long we're going to have our people around. So here we go. Ooh, well, this is definitely what your dad did. 202, perseverance. It definitely did. I bet he'll get a kick out of that. And I feel like there's a wife on that side just giving him a lot of love. Oh my gosh, I know, Kim, man. Carla says, hi, Carla. Why didn't you see me last weekend? I was sick as well. I was wondering, Carla, why I didn't see you. I was actually looking for you. And you were sick too. Oh, I'm glad that you feel better now. Yeah. Oh, and I wanted to get a card too from the very beginning. And this is for Sylvia Ambrose. Can I have a card from your husband who's on the other side? So we're going to use James's cards, Talking to Heaven. I love these cards. I love all these cards. And here, let's get some cards out here. Okay, card from your husband. Let's see. There is no such thing as death, which whenever I see that, that means he's totally around and he wants you to know he didn't die. For goodness sakes, he's always around you. Okay, just remember that. He's always around you. Always. So there you go. So thanks, Leslie. I will feel better. I already feel better. Renee says, does the solar flares causing the aurora bring energy to the astrology? You betcha, Renee. You bet. You bet. Yeah. I think that this energy, I mean, my goodness, this is some energy patterns that we have now. I mean, aurora borealis, northern lights 3 times where I live. And I missed them each time because they didn't show up at my house, but they went everywhere else. And I'm really happy about that. Deb Rochlin says, you love a card? Well, you got it, honey. Let's get you a card. Ooh, 717. Bravery. That's one of my favorites. I think when we come to Earth, we have to be brave. You know, there's that great song, Brave. I forget who sings it, but I love that song. And it's really true. You have to be brave when you come here because it's a lot. It's a lot that goes on Earth. You know, just an awful lot. Bernadette says, I had to take my daughter to the hospital. She was so sick with something. I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff going around. Because I don't leave my house, so I really don't get sick. But it's okay. It is okay. Melissa says, the true concept of calm surrender. I love that, Melissa. Yes, calm surrender. It aligns closely with the principles of letting go and spiritual surrender. Very true. You don't have to do it in a like that. You don't have to. You can do it in a very calm way. Hi, Anne Margaret. How are you, honey? Anne Margaret, I'm going to get you a card just because. Ooh, Infinity. Infinity. That's a good one. Infinity. That's a good one for you, Anne Margaret. That's a perfect one. Okay. Amber Lily says, Kelly, I've been hearing that the solar flares are causing weird physical issues. I would believe that because we are seeing some really weird things. I mean, yes, I think that, Amber. I do think that. So, yeah, I missed him. Do you believe that? I'm so sorry, everybody. Don's going to get me the cough drops for tomorrow. Kim Ann says, my brother caught the aurora a few nights ago on the family farm in northern Illinois, and we haven't even had them in Nashville. Oh, you had them in Nashville. Wow. That's amazing. Yeah, everybody saw them, but for some reason, we didn't get to see them right here. I don't know why that is. Okay, Maggie Landis, I love this. She says, boy, were you right. Dreams this week have been really wild. A lot of dreams. I think we're having souls that coming into our dreams of our loved ones, people that maybe you haven't thought of in a long time. They're checking in on us. They want to make sure that, you don't forget them or that you made a significant point in their life. That could be too. You do things for people, you don't really think about it. And they get to the other side and they're like, look, I really want to thank you for this. So I think that's very important. Anne Margaret says, remember on the Alaska cruise, I got up at 4 a.m. to see the aurora lights? Okay, Anne Margaret, I actually told Dawn that story today because I did not get up. I'm like, I think sleep is more important to me. Even though I really want to see them, I just didn't want to be inconvenienced. I don't know. I love my sleep. But I remember you got up at 4 a.m. and you didn't get to see them. So I literally told Dawn that story. Yeah. That's a very funny story. Oh, thanks, Maura, for listening to James and to me, for you and the universe. We love doing that show. You have a cold too, Miranda? Oh, I'm sorry. I guess they're really going around right now, Tammy Connor says, Kelly, I'm sleeping at night, but having the oddest dreams. Yes. whatever is happening is so close to me that I can see it. I just get a sense of what's around me, and it always looks like futuristic buildings. So Tammy, before you go to bed, ask yourself, where am I going to go tonight, and what is the meaning of this? And you can slow the process down to figure out the meaning. I think we're going to get a lot of divine help with now where we are, especially as we come to the end of the year. Come to the end of the year, it's time to really, especially it's in 9 years, like to end things, just to come in to end things. And then we have, once we start up on January 1st, I have to tell you, and I said this to James, it's like that energy hits fast and hard. That January 1st is a 111 day, and it's a new beginning year. So maybe your dreams currently are letting go of things, or things that you just, I don't know, have to process. That's the other thing. So when you start thinking about something that, let's say somebody harmed you, or you had a problem with somebody, then what happens is when you look at it, you start to process. I wonder what they were going through. I know what I was going through. And when you start to process things like this, you will often have dreams about that situation or that person. So it's part of the forgiveness piece. It's part of the remembering piece of these dreams. I think it's a good thing. Rita says, "Hi, Kelly. I hope your voice is better. Thank you. I'm recovering from bladder surgery. Let's everybody appreciate a prayer for total recovery for Rita. Everybody send your love and prayers to Rita, if we could, for bladder surgery. Rita, I'm going to get you a card here. Ooh, accountability. So you took some account of your body, and you had some surgery. Okay, we'll send you lots of prayers, Rita. I was thinking about you today, Rita. So I'm glad to hear from you. And I know you're going to get a lot of healing out of this. So Joanne says, "Good evening. No coincidence. I'm here tonight. Letting go of a job today. That's a complicated situation. Can I get a card?" Yes, 1010. Thanks for being here. Even beige under the weather with a gold. Thank you. Appreciate that. Hey, Julianne. Julianne was so good, you guys. If you don't know Julianne, she is a wonderful feng shui person. She's got a great book, Change Your Life, using feng shui to change your life. It's really good. Julianne Siegel. And I met her mother. Her mother's a therapist. Oh my God. Love, love, love your mother. Julianne, she's just loved. I was telling Dawn how much I loved to be with her. She was great. Okay, I know, but I don't want to forget what I was saying. So let's get you a card. If your birthday is 10/10, October 10, that's a Queen of Clubs. So Queen of Clubs, Joanne, has a situation in their mind. They think so much that they constantly are worried, or anxious. So let's slow it down. If it's a complicated situation, let's get you an angel card. And sometimes it's just time to let go. Things happen, and it's time to let go, and then something new, amazing happens. 413, synergy. So maybe take a look at the synergy of the complicated situation, and it's time to move forward. And it's okay. I mean, how many jobs have I lost and moved forward? Oh, please. I mean, it's sometimes, and things can get complicated, but give yourself a break. I think that 2026 will be a good year for you, Joanne. And again, sometimes it's time for all of us to end on something, Christy says, "Kelly, get you some Amish elderberry syrup." You know what, Christy? I could, because I live in an area where there are Amish. And Peggy, if you're listening, would you stop by the Amish place and get that for me, the Amish elderberry syrup? Because she lives closer to it than me. She had beautiful pictures, by the way, my niece, of the Northern Lights. It was stunning. But thank you. I did not know about this, but now I'm going to do that. I appreciate that, Christy. Hi, Tracy. How are you, Tracy? Oh, my gosh. Good to see you, honey. Oh, my gosh. Dina says, "Wishing you a speedy recovery." Thank you. Okay, Kim says, "Oh my God, so funny that you say that I've been doing some reading and listening to podcasts in the last month." It's true. And what happens is they make you rethink things. Rethinking is a good thing. It's how we learn to move. Patty says, Kelly, I've mentioned how my husband has been ill in health. He's still in AFib, fallen twice, not eating much. Says nothing tastes good. Will he be around for Thanksgiving? She says, I feel he won't. I don't know, Patty. I don't like to predict anything like that. I will say, Patty, that a lot of people are exiting, during November. Seems to be a month where people exit. So I'm sorry that you guys are going through that. Just give them a lot of love and support during this times. Okay. Thank you, Judy Loveland. Honey, Mrs. Shipono says honey and lemon. Yep, I've been doing that every day, actually. Linda Reynolds, hi, trying to work through the challenge of letting our dog go. Now that, Linda, is a big one. That's a big one. I've got chills. It's feeling like the time is coming near, trying to get yourself ready, letting go. I remember, Linda, well, first of all, Don and I have had a lot of dogs, and we've had this experience. And it's one of the roughest ones, frankly. And I remember when James's dog, it was time. It was really a hard thing. And he had a really good attitude about it. He understood, as painful as it was, because it is a pain. It's, that wonderful attachment, right? But, everything has a beginning, a middle, and an end. And my mom taught me that years ago. In fact, when I did my mother's memorial, I was a speaker, and I talked about what she taught me, a beginning, middle, and an end. And when we get to the end piece, we want to have lots of grace and love and compassion and empathy for you, Linda, and for your dog, I promise this, you'll be together again with him, for sure, but prepare yourself. I think it's really important, is to prepare yourself. Not that you can prepare for it, believe me, but I like the way you're thinking. It's a hard one. Linda, that is such a hard one. Many of us have been through this one. Charlene Miller says, Kelly, that sucks that you're sick. Zicam. I've been taking the Zicam too. Oh, I forgot about those nasal swabs. I think I have some. I forgot about that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Dolly, and thank you, Susan. I appreciate it. I will consider doing a COVID test to make sure. I have some here, and I hadn't done that yet, but I'll do that tonight, Susan. I will. Laura Crum says, Kelly, healing blessings sent to you. I think you're a trooper. I am a trooper. I am a trooper. Rita says, I have to accept failure of health. Well, or, Rita, I don't know. I don't know if you need, well, I guess acceptance is important of everything. Acceptance is huge. I understand that, Rita, to have that acceptance. It's a very mature, wisdom place to go, Rita, with that. And I really appreciate and value what you just said. Okay. And I love you, Rita. Truly. Sherry Traxinger says, Kelly, I hope you feel better. Thank you. This is what you needed to hear right now. Okay. Good. Hi, Laura. Kelly, she's from North Carolina. Thank you. And fear of the loss of the known, navigating grief with Dr. Constant Clancy says also fear of the loss of the known. It's true. It's true, right? Dr. Constance, life is challenging, right? It's full of all kinds of things, and you help with navigating grief. I mean, thank God. I really appreciate and value the work that you do, because it's a big deal when we work with grief. I think it's a huge deal. Hi, Justine. She says, Kelly, hope you feel better. She also takes elderberry syrup every single day from November to March. All right, Peggy, please get us some elderberry syrup. I appreciate that. Okay, I love this idea. Cheryl Wharton says, Kelly, feel better. Please do a show on how to love our younger self. Okay, Michelle. I think Michelle's traveling right now, but Michelle, I'm going to write that down. A show on loving our younger self. I had a feeling that somebody was going to say something I needed to write down, so I kept a piece of paper here. Your younger self. I appreciate that, Cheryl. It's really true, that love and acceptance of however we were when we were young. We're supposed to go, I don't know, we're supposed to have all kinds of experiences when we're young. And then you get to a point where you learn, oh, maybe I shouldn't go down that road. Oh, that's not good. That's how we learn. I think that's really important here. So Jen says, I've learned I needed to remind myself that my thoughts on a situation, are they factual or is it a story I created in my own thoughts? Okay, Jen, that is everything. I'm glad you got that. Remind yourself on everything. There's always all kinds of ways to view things, but I think that's the first thing that people need to do is remind themselves, actually, is this factual or is it not? You can poke a hole in anything. Addie says, hi, Addie. Addie, Bo Daddy. Oh, that's so great. Thank you for having your show for us, sending love and healing. Thank you, honey. My question to you is, do you have advice for me to move on from my job environment? It's toxic and leadership is not getting along. In a somewhere, I feel like I've hung on so long that it feels like a failure to let go now. I feel too exhausted to start a new career right away, but scared to take a break. I do have finances to live on. Addie, that's a real deep situation. You should have a session with me, Addie, because that's the kind of thing where we kind of look at the life and what is it that you came to do and what is it that you're hanging on for what reason. Just because you've been there for so long doesn't mean that you need to stay. That's an old myth. So anyway, and I understand it, Addie, moving forward, and you're scared to take a break. I understand that. Sometimes that's what's required, but thank you, Addie. I do appreciate what you said. I do appreciate that. You might want to consider having a session with me. Okay, Tiziana. Hi, Tiziana. Can I have a card? You betcha. Let's get you a card here from the angels. Ooh, 222, alignment. I think it's funny. What happens is when we start to let go of old things that we're carrying, old baggage stuff, we get into alignment. And really, when I think about, Addie, what you said, you've just been out of alignment. Getting in alignment is everything. And then when you get into alignment, you see things clear. You see things, which you can't see if you're in a state of fear. If you're in a state of panic or scared or fear or any of that, you can't see clearly. So something to think about there. Wendy says, Kelly, I absolutely love your show. Thank you. You've helped me. Thank you. You can get a card for your son. His birthday is October 23rd, but let's get a card right here for him. Ooh, 1144. Leveling up. That means leveling up means, we're taking another step. Taking another step, leveling up. That's one thing that happens on Earth. It's almost like doing the cha-cha. You go forward, you go back, you go forward a couple, you go back a couple, but leveling up is a good sign. That means that, next bump up. It's a good thing. We always want to encourage leveling up. Time to move on. Time to take the next leap of faith. In psychology, we call it a leap of faith in existentialism. But it's a profound statement, really, leveling up. So this is a good thing. Okay. Miranda says, Kelly, it's that song that helps Viola Wills. God, get along without you before I met you. Going to get along without you now. That's the truth. Oh, that's right. That's a good song. There you go. Descamp Dawn. She says, girl, that cough voice sounds just like mine. Okay, so you have it too? I think a lot of people have this. I do. Carla says, the Abbey can be confusing. I've been there several times. Okay, if you could have seen me walking up and down, looking for help, and then of all the people, an engineer, it was fabulous. He takes out a map. It was great. I thought that was so funny. Laura says, my husband says I can get lost in a paper bag and find traffic in a parking lot. Okay, Laura, seriously, 100% that's me, 100%. And then you add James to the mix. Oh my God. And we were doing the it was Dr. Drew show. And we literally, it was supposed to be there at midnight. It was a Halloween show. We got there at like 3 minutes before midnight because we got so lost. And we're both from LA. I mean, I'm from LA. I should have gotten us there. Oh, well, Melanie KR, she says, love this. I was really betrayed and disappointed with decisions made at work. A lot of work things. I'm hearing a lot of work things. I'm trying to process the new path need to take. Feeling torn as I love your work so much. And I appreciate that, Melanie, that you feel that at least You're probably going to have to take a new path, and that's okay. And you have to think like that. And I'm sure you love your work. I bet you if you decide to take a new path, or if a new path is chosen for you, or if a new path says, oh, I got to take this new path, however it comes up, you'll probably love it better. That's what spirit does. It'll be like, come on, we're going over here now. But I'm not ready to go over there. Oh, yes, you are. Boom. And that's how that happens. Be gentle with yourself, Maura. Absolutely. Absolutely. Kathy says, oh, Kathy Shelton, I'm so happy you're going to be there on Saturday. It's going to be a great class on Saturday. Ooh. Oil of oregano. My sister told me that one. Michelle says, I'm enjoying this. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Susan. I appreciate all of this. Leslie, thank you. Is Tuesday the new day and time for, yes, the live that James and I do? It's Tuesdays, excuse me, at 5 o'clock Pacific time. I am going to go to bed right now, Patty, and rest. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So here we go. I am going to do that. Doc Holiday, that's right. Ann Margaret, you would love Holiday. She's the best. My daughter is the best. Gail says, I've been using a meditation every night, letting go of what does not serve you. It's helped me greatly to let go and know a peace I have never experienced before. It's everything, Gail. It's everything. To have peace on earth in your body, oh my God, I think it's so important. Excuse me. I think it's so important. Okay. Renee says, I gave my free will and surrendered to spirit. Me too, Renee. My free will did me no good. Nobody could have gotten in more trouble than me. I love it when you say that, Kelly, because truly, it's true. From this space, it's brought freedom. No worries, no attachments, surrendering the free will. Once I gave that one up, I was just great. Just great. Oh, Dolly, let's get you a card. Dolly, your birthday's tomorrow. Okay. Ooh, 555. Change. Change is coming, Dolly, on your birthday, 11/14. If your birthday is tomorrow, you're 6 of clubs. That's a great one. And a lot about change and transformation, which is great. Oh, I love this. Gail says the Hay House has an app, Empower You. Great. Oh, I love this. Oh, thanks, Ada. She says, blessings and gratitude for all you guys do. Thank you. Okay, Maura, let me get you a card. Ooh, 1212. Choices. So you'll have some choices to make. Listen, we all have choices to make. Do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? And then ask yourself, if it's time to make a choice or if it's time to make a change, don't have any fear about it. Just make the change and just know it'll work out. You have to think in a different way. I've had to make change my whole life. And it just is something you just learn to do. Melissa, you'd like a card? Okay. Ooh, 666. Reflect. Literally, reflect. Melissa, it's about reflection. Okay. Edith says, Kelly, may I have a card for my soul's highest good? Yes. Ooh, 272. Confidence. That's a good one. Confidence. That's a really good one. And you know what, everybody? I'm going to get a card for all of us right now. Oh, wait. First, before I do that, Linda says, Kelly, I had to put my beloved horse down a couple of weeks ago, and it's been so hard. Let me get you a card from here. Ooh, this is a good one. My death was painless. Please don't worry or hold on to guilt. Linda, that's for you. I knew I had to get this. Ooh, my gosh, I have chills. You did the right thing, I just heard. When you pay attention to your dreams. Okay. Ida, here's what I want to do for everybody tonight before I leave. It's a card from here. And let's see. Perfect. 525. Reshape. All right, so we're all in a period of reshaping. Think of it like that. It's a great lens to use. I look forward to seeing everybody who's going to take our class on Saturday. I'm looking so forward to that. I have a 5 o'clock somewhere tomorrow. I have a special guest, everybody, on Friday at 5 o'clock. It's going to be really fun. I think you guys are going to love it. That's part of my app. And take care, everybody. Thank you for all the love and support. I really appreciate all of that. So have a great night, everybody. And I'll see you next week. I'll be here.
You've been listening to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.